Good, y'all, and Jerry about to check out 9 iconic matches you may not have known happened before. This video is about wrestling flashback, and I'm kind of anxious to see which matches that I have not seen before and probably didn't even know that happened before, man. So let's hop into the video.
Iconic wrestling matches live long in the memory, especially when it's two massive stars facing off with one another. But sometimes, the famous match we all remember might not have been the first time we saw our favourite wrestlers go one-on-one. As their paths may have crossed
We're gonna say
earlier
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker and Triple H from WrestleMania 17.
We're looking at 9 times wrestlers fought before their most famous match. The Undertaker and Kane's legendary feud came to a head at WrestleMania 14, and it was here where Taker was able to put down his brother, although it did require 3 tombstones. Despite the loss, Kane established himself as a main event player. But that was a far cry from where the man behind the mask, Glenn Jacobs, was career-wise just 3 years prior. Jacobs had been working down in Smoky Mountain Wrestling as a Unabomb, and the less said about that gimmick, the better. Jacobs did get an opportunity as Unabomb in August 1995 when he wrestled The Undertaker, who was appearing in Smoky Mountain whilst already a big star in WWF. Unabomb gave his future brother quite the test, but the dead man got the win in a lengthy match lasting nearly 15 minutes.
The tombstone back there looked more deadly
the Unabomb character behind for good
compared to how he did it over the time
as he would now
of
be
his
known
career.
as Isaac Yankem DDS in the WWF. And under this gimmick, the two men actually fought again in a rather uneventful match. But Jacobs would finally find the right persona in 1997 when the Big Red Machine, Kane, was born.
That's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane!
The Shield burst onto the scene in WWE in 2012 as they were pushed to the moon right from the beginning and would go on to have quite their legendary run. But there would always come the day when all three would have to go their separate paths. And once that happened, it had all fans wondering when a triple threat match between the men would finally take place. And that happened at the 2016 Battle
It should have been at a WrestleMania
when Dean Ambrose defended the WWE Championship against Rollins and Reigns in an incredible match. But interestingly, these three had wrestled each other in a triple threat match before, as just a few months prior to forming the Shield, Ambrose, Rollins and Reigns, who was known as Alea Key, would square off in a 3-way match in WWE's then developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling. Even before debuting on the main roster, the WWE had bright hopes for each man. Reigns would be the one to get the victory despite being the less established of the three, but it wouldn't be long before the Shield would begin to run roughshod over WWE. However, their original triple threat match from FCW remains a nice Easter egg in their legacy. Sticking with the former WWE developmental territory as we go back to OVW in 2000, when 2 of the biggest stars to ever come out of the promotion wrestled as Leviathan Batista took on Randy Orton. Batista made short work of Orton in what was effectively a squash match. The two would wrestle again in February 2002 prior to a SmackDown taping. Orton attempted to put up a bigger fight here but still lost, and it wouldn't be long after this that they both made their jump to the main roster and then later being a part of Evolution together.
Evolution has just passed you by!
Once they went their separate ways as single stars, their paths crossed again with both now main event caliber wrestlers. They locked up on pay-per-view at Armageddon in 2008, and just like their prior 2 matches as rookies, Batista would come away with the win.
I hated Randy Orton, Edge, Kurt Angle, and Mark Henry.
None of his matches against Batista. The Animal was one wrestler
amongst other people too.
Never defeat. OVW's esteemed class of graduates in 2002 also featured the now 16-time world champion John Cena, who was known as the Prototype. Cena squared off with Leviathan in February 2002. 3 years before they finished as the final 2 in the Royal Rumble. Batista controlled most of the match, but following interference, Cena would get the win. Now it wasn't clear based upon watching this match that these 2 would be the 2 men to lead Raw and SmackDown through the Ruthless Aggression era, but it was clear the potential each man had.
I miss them days right there. They actually squared off in 08 at SummerSlam.
Definitely saw, as it was only a short time after their match that they both debuted on the main roster. But the next time they went one-on-one would be a far bigger stage than OVW, with their most significant singles matches versus each other taking place at SummerSlam 2008 and WrestleMania 26 respectively. We'll touch on the legendary OVW 2002 class one more time as we look at a match between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton that took place during their first months on the main roster. Both were fresh on the scene following their spell in Louisville, However, their experiences since making the jump to the main show had been quite different, and the booking of their match proves this. Lesnar dominated, although the bout lasted longer than a typical squash. Given the potential both wrestlers had as rookies, it was surprising that they wouldn't lock up again until 14 years later at SummerSlam 2016. This match was 16 as Lesnar would purposely bust Orton open by striking him in the head over and over again. In what was one of the most graphic
that was a crazy
matches of the PG era.
Bare bones trying to bust up your opponent.
Two of WWE's greatest high flyers in Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy had some classic.
I think they fought in like '93.
In particular, their ladder match at SummerSlam 2001.
Ooh.
And what was
they had similar styles.
The Invasion pay-per-view.
That's what made they matches so unique and great.
Chairs and all the inventive violence. But would you believe that these two had actually
they were both willing to put their bodies on the line?
An episode of Raw back in 1997. This was during the first Invasion, as Vince McMahon would invite ECW and its stars to make a few select appearances on the flagship show. Monday
they should have did that with TNA.
As an attempt to boost sagging ratings, as well as allow ECW some more mainstream exposure leading into their big pay-per-view.
They could have did that to TNA.
Some innovative moves, proving to the WWE fans why he should be referred to as Mr. Monday Night. Two of wrestling's greatest rivals, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, would square off at different points throughout their career, feuding for the Intercontinental Championship in 1992, followed by their iconic feud for the WWF Championship in 1996 and 1997. But their first encounter would come in 1990 on an episode of Wrestling Challenge. Both were tag team
HBK was an HBK back
then. Hart Foundation and Michaels as a member of the Rockers.
So they both tag team wrestlers. They weren't established yet.
Would go back and forth in a short match that finished in a double disqualification. But it wasn't about the finish and more about the story of the tag team feud between each man's team. Long before they were co-stars on Total Divas or before their classic SummerSlam match back in 2013. John Cena and Daniel Bryan would lock up on an episode of WWE's C-Show Velocity in early 2003.
I found that out by playing the game.
Time, but Cena was the one with the WWE contract by the time he and Danielson
2K19.
Danielson was working his way through the
showcase
independent wrestling scene while Cena had been floundering after a stuttering start during his time on SmackDown. However, things were about to pick up. But you wouldn't think so after watching this match, as Cena gave Bryan a decent amount of offense. Something Cena later got in trouble for after coming back through the curtain. Cena would pick up the win for the night, while for Bryan, he would wrestle a few more C-Show and Dark matches for WWE before starting full-time with the company in 2010. Perhaps one of wrestling's most famous matches is Hogan-Andre at WrestleMania 3. There is not much more that can be said about it that hasn't already been said. But although the storyline led us to believe that Hogan and Andre had been great friends and wouldn't dare wrestle one another, in reality, the two had worked numerous times before. Their most well-known encounter pre-Mania 3 came at Shea Stadium in 1980, and it was here that Hogan most famously body-slammed Andre prior to doing so at the Pontiac Silverdome. However, the very first match between the two even precedes the Hulkster being given the name Hulk Hogan, as he was instead known as Sterling Golden when he first fought Andre back in 1979. Hogan got the win there via disqualification. And that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, be sure to check out our similar video on 11 WWE title changes that technically never happened. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.
Man, this is a great video, man. I did not know Undertaker and Kane had several different matches prior to Glenn Jacobs becoming the Kane character. And I didn't know Andre and Hogan had a match like years before their WrestleMania 3 match. And they did the exact same spot that Hogan body slammed Andre with. I thought that was the first time the world got to see Hogan body slam Andre, but it happened before. So what other matches that y'all may not have known that happened before actually happened in WWE? Let me know what y'all thought of my reaction to this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and then I'll see you next time. Peace.